Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dear Tober podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Kas, and this is Tober with his witch hat.
The witch hat is looking pretty cute, so tell me, why a witch for Halloween?
It was really the only hat at the dollar store that would fit him, and it was the cutest one.
He is looking pretty cute.
Yeah, otherwise it would have been a cowboy hat or a pirate hat.
Could you imagine Cowboy Toby?
Yeah, he would have been cute,
Cowboy
but his
Toby.
bear would have drowned in it.
We also have a co-star today. Her name is Fleur. She's right here. So if you have any technical difficulties, we blame the cat.
Yeah, it's her fault.
We've had to restart this. This is the third time now because she's either turned off the computer or just moved over all of our stuff. So it's been an experiment to try and get this episode done.
I'm about to evict her.
So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, so last episode we left off, we were leaving the hospital. I went to my mom's for about a month, and then we went to my place for another month before I decided it was time to try being alone. So when we got back to my mom's, I think it was her that started making phone calls and sending messages to people, close family and friends. I don't think she even told everybody right away. And then I sent some private messages as well. One of them was my Aunt Shenya. I sent her a message. I didn't tell her right away because I didn't think I should just launch into the whole story in my first message to her.
Yeah, I think that would have been a little bit heavy to just hear over Messenger.
Yeah, so obviously she didn't know right away when she responded to me, and so she was excited and asking for pictures and how it went. So then I told her that he didn't make it, and so she called, and she was at work and pretty much having a meltdown.
I mean, understandably so. You hear your goddaughter is in the middle of this whole grieving process and just lost her baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just losing your baby, it was a stillbirth. Like that.
Yeah.
That's dramatic. It's traumatic.
Unexpected.
Like we said in the last episode, we went into this not anticipating a stillbirth at all.
Yeah.
Like this was somebody who passed away 2 hours before being born.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that would be a lot to hear over the phone.
Especially when you're at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. She ended up getting off the phone and then minutes later called me again to say, you know what, I told my boss I'm leaving work. I'm getting in an Uber. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And so she came over, and I think other than you and my dad, she was one of our first visitors.
I remember she had visited pretty quickly. She was pretty upset and distraught over it all.
Yeah, I tried to message my family before anybody else. I also messaged the group of girls that I had been working with earlier in the year at my last job. Other than that, I don't think I really messaged many people. No one really found out, I guess, until I posted it on social media publicly for everybody to see.
Yeah, and that was almost a full week after.
Yeah, I wasn't really ready, I guess, for the messages and the questions. And I guess not necessarily for everyone to want to visit.
Understandably so.
Yeah, like I found having visitors did help pass the time, so I wasn't just sitting there all day doing nothing. But, you know, you can only see so many visitors in one day before you're like tapped out. So
tap in, tap out, tap in,
Yeah.
tap out.
I was tapping out by the end of the day.
When we were at the hospital, we were dropping just like bombs on Cass's mom.
Oh, the tea was hot.
It was piping, okay? And so her mom would be sitting there and, okay, tapping out, can't handle anymore right now, can't handle anymore. And then the next thing you know is like things would get quiet and, okay, I'm tapping in again, tapping in, I'm ready.
I think maybe the tapping in so much was if we're not tapping in and talking about this stuff, then we're just sitting there looking at Tober and thinking about him. So I think it kind of helped with.
I think that's part of why we were having such dramatic conversation while we were there, because
it was already such a dramatic moment.
nothing that we could have said was going to be more shocking than holding
a dead baby.
I mean, full send. That's exactly what it is.
Just send her.
Yeah. So, I mean, you were tapping out. When I came home, I was greeted by 2 kids and Cameron. And Cam was very understanding, very nice about it all. But Vienna was being a normal 13-year-old who was...
I think in Cam's case, he was hurting too.
Absolutely he was.
Just quieter.
I mean, we had gone through a miscarriage earlier in the year. And so it was a second trimester miscarriage. So that was really hard. And then we were asked to be the godparents, and Cam was so happy. He's like, I'm going to have a little boy. And he was like excited to do like all the football stuff and like Pokemon, just all of the stuff that he does with Mar, but it's not the same because Mar is a little bit of a girly girl.
Yeah.
So Cam was really looking forward to that. So yeah, he was hurting too. But Cam is much more of a silent herder. He's a little bit more reserved. Like when he's hurt, he expresses his anger quickly. Mm-hmm. But hurt is a whole other feeling for him.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, hurt comes right into anger. Mm-hmm. And with Vienna being 13 at the time and just trying to like push the buttons, 13 was a year.
Yeah.
It was a year that felt like 5.
Bro, it felt like 5 for me, and I'm not even her mom.
14 isn't shaping out to be much better, but here we are. But yeah, so I came home and it was like poking the bear. And I went straight to anger. And that was my first real feeling of grief. I didn't go through the sad right away. Mm-hmm. I went through just like, I was mad. Like, why did this happen? Why did it have to happen? Like, it's not fair. Just like all of it. And something that we didn't talk about in the last episode that I think maybe we should bring up is there was some stuff that was brought up that made me really angry when you were in the hospital. Mm-hmm. And that was Tober's dad and the messages on the chat.
Parenting app.
On the parenting app.
Yeah.
Like, when we were recording our last episode, that completely slipped my mind.
I feel like I...
blocked it out?
Yeah, kind of blocked it out. Because it was just so unnecessary, I guess. And I just wanted to suppress those memories because it kind of made it worse.
100%.
Like, initial hours.
100%. It was like he was harassing you, texting you, mm-hmm. and you weren't wanting to have to deal with it. So I grabbed your phone and I was like, you want to go, boy? Let's go. 10 rounds.
Yeah, I was literally going to wait a couple days to message him because I'm like, you know what? This is our time with Tober. This is the only time we're going to get, and I don't want to let him ruin it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went to anger. There was all of that stuff that happened in the text messages, which we'll get into at a later time.
Yes, we're probably going to have an entire baby daddy episode.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah. Between the two of us, we know how to pick them.
Well, we're in it together.
After that, I had gone to bed for a little bit, and when I got back up, I said, you know what, Cam, I'm going to Cass's house. And so the first night, even after the hospital, so it was like we got home that morning, that night, I remember going to the LCBO, picking up 2 bottles of wine. And
Those were some big bottles, too. Those weren't normal bottles.
They were massive.
They were drown in my sorrows bottles.
Well, I mean, what else were we supposed to do?
Yeah.
So I picked up 2 giant bottles of wine, 1 red for your mom, and then a rosé for myself, and I grabbed you a twisted tea.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat down on the couch, and I remember we watched Love is Blind.
Yes. Love is Blind. And here we are a year later, and we watched it, sort of, again.
Sort of. I can't get through it all.
This season wasn't that great.
No, I already know, and, like, I won't spoil it for anybody in case they're planning on watching it, but very anticlimactic.
And we love to climax.
Okay, moving on.
That took a turn. Anywho, yes. So that first month at my mom's, I think it was the first week or 2, we had quite a few visitors. We also had a lot going on in regards to the funeral home. I was given a list of funeral homes at the hospital, and I already kind of had one in mind because my mom lives about 10 minutes away from one, and I have a friend buried there already. So we kind of just walked in one day, me, my mom, and my dad, and had a meeting with a funeral director, and it went from there.
How was planning the funeral, well, the cremation process? Because the funeral wasn't done at a funeral home.
No.
But how was planning that cremation process with your mom and your dad together? Because, as we've stated, your parents have been separated since you were little.
Yeah, it was nice to have them both there, to have their support and have them kind of advocate for me when needed. As for the actual planning, I've kind of felt like it was a dream almost. Like, as if I'm in a funeral home right now, not only for, like, planning it for someone I know, like, on their behalf, but it being my baby.
Let alone
Wild.
your son.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've been to lots of funerals, but I've never actually had to plan one or plan a cremation, let alone it be for my child. So it was a little weird, but honestly, the funeral director was great, and he pretty much just handled it all other than asking certain questions and signing some papers. He took care of it. So that was great. I had signed off on a full autopsy at the hospital, and so they needed to bring him to CHEO to do that, then back to the Civic where he was born, then to the funeral home. So I knew there was a chance that I was going to get to see him one more time before the cremation, but it was going to depend on, I guess, decomposition and how that kind of panned out and how long everything was going to take.
Yeah. And to this day, we haven't even gotten the results of that autopsy report.
No. I could probably reach out to my OB. She's the one who would have gotten the results. I imagine if there was something, she would have called by now. But part of me doesn't want to call, to be honest. I feel like at this point, what's it going to do? It will probably just bring up old feelings of, like, what ifs that I've already moved beyond.
Yeah, I mean, not to dredge it up, but they could turn around and say, well, your blood glucose was too high, mm-hmm. or your placenta deteriorated too quickly, or there could be like 100 million different things that they could say. And they could also say, like, oh, well, you were too stressed.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were stressed. Everything that you were going through in that pregnancy, between the bus accident and all of it, like, mm-hmm. It's a lot.
I mean, yeah. The thing is obviously I want to try for more kids one day. So if there were something, it would help future pregnancies. So yeah, I'm a little caught in the middle about it.
But at the same time, if it was something that could have been helped, you would think that they would have told you.
Yeah, exactly. I was told by multiple people there's a good chance it's not going to show anything. Often that is the case. So, be prepared for that.
Well, in most of the Facebook groups that we follow that deal with child loss and grief and all of that, a lot of the parents actually say that they never actually had a conclusion as to why or what happened.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I see most of the time. So that's kind of what I was expecting to begin with. So,
It's a sad reality to know that you might never actually have those answers.
yeah. At this point, though, I feel like, obviously I have a really bad day sometimes and I still get sad and, like, I guess triggered. But a lot of the time, I feel like at peace with it. So, I guess that's part of why I don't really want to call, because I don't want it to ruin the peace that I feel surrounding it. So, like,
I mean, we'll skip the rest of that and go back into the actual conversation. After the funeral home, you had seen your midwife and you started seeing Roger Nielsen House.
Yeah, so the midwife put me in touch with Roger Nielsen, which they've been absolutely amazing. They have lots of different events that you can attend. They have great group sessions. They have one-on-one therapists. So I started off one-on-one. I switched over to group. I believe it was for 9 weeks, and then back into one-on-one. Group was great as well to connect with people who were recently going through similar situations. But I found a lot of the people in my group experienced it differently. A lot of them lost their babies between like 22 and 25 weeks. There was like a complication, so they had to give birth, and then their baby didn't last for too long after that. I think there was only one lady in my group whose story was a little similar to Tober's. Her baby was born, but when they went to sleep that night, he just didn't wake up the next morning. So I guess it's probably the closest story to mine.
That must be heartbreaking as well.
Well, yeah, right? I keep thinking to myself, it would have been worse had I gotten to spend any time with him as a living baby. So to have only like 24 hours with your child before they pass away must have been like even...
Especially if you're not expecting it.
Yeah, again, right? It's so unexpected. The thing is, though, I think we've touched on it, but thinking like Tober at least passed in the womb, so he didn't suffer. But I also think her baby probably didn't suffer either, because he passed away in his sleep. So at least it was peaceful too, right? I think the worst case would be knowing that they were suffering before.
And also, he was sleeping and probably passed feeling only love for those first 24 hours.
I mean, at least comfort, right? He was probably swaddled and cozy and whatnot, so.
Ugh. From the beginning, you've suffered with mental illness.
Yes.
And so was it your family doctor that you went to see, or was it somebody from Roger Nielsen that ended up taking charge of your mental health after?
Yeah, so not only did the midwife put me in contact with Roger Nielsen for therapy, they also put me in contact with a perinatal psychiatrist. So she ended up doing a full, like, in-depth diagnosis and adjusting my meds as needed for the first, I think it was 6 months.
Okay.
And then my family doctor took over. They had always been in charge of the medication I was on and my dosage and everything. So then they took over again. But while seeing the psychiatrist, the one-on-one therapist, and the midwife, I was also seeing my family doctor.
Okay.
So medically speaking, and like in regards to my mental health, I had a lot of support. So that was great. I think the resources surrounding that aspect were definitely covered, and there was a lot of it. I think maybe when it comes to these things, other resources are still needed.
And when it came down to your mental health after, having him, where would you say that you were? Like, I'm not even sure how to phrase this, but did
Did
you
you want to
have
kill yourself or nah?
yeah.
It depended on the day. I know that in that regard, having Silas probably saved me more times than I want to admit. I think without him, there's probably more of a chance that I would have tried to hurt myself. Now I'm going to get emotional.
Because I remember when you had first gotten your medication and stuff back, that was something that I was worried about, was that you were just going to try and gobble them all up.
Yeah.
And so me and your mom had
Gobble.
kind of had the conversation. Yeah, gobble. Kind of ironic considering it was October and
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. But yeah, that was where my fear was, is that that's what you were going to try and do. And so me and your mom were like, well, you live right next door. If it's really that big of a problem, just keep the meds at your place and Cass can come pick them up.
Dish them out to me as needed.
But we didn't go that route because you did say that you felt like that wasn't going to be the route or the...
Without Silas, maybe. Probably. But I could never. Just thinking about the fact that the month leading up to Tober's birth, I was so concerned about something happening to me because I didn't want to leave Silas without a mom, or Tober for that case. I couldn't now turn around
and then do that
to myself anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't do that to him. You know, he is very much an annoying 5-year-old little boy sometimes. But that's my annoying 5-year-old little boy, and I don't think I could do that to him.
At this point, you are medicated, you're in therapy, you're moving forward with the funeral home. I guess the next thing is that we had gone to pick up the urn.
Yeah, so the funeral home, you know, they were actually pretty quick about everything, and I did get to go see him one last time before the cremation. He obviously didn't look exactly like himself, considering, you know, the preservation that was done. But he didn't look like a decomposing baby, I'd say. I mean, his lips were like purple, like dark purple, but otherwise he still looked okay.
He still looked like himself.
Not himself, but a baby. During the autopsy, because it was a full autopsy, they did drain him of fluids and whatnot, so he did feel a lot lighter and almost like more caved in, I'd say. He was also dressed up though in baby clothes and swaddled and had a fresh hat and everything, so we couldn't see the effects of the autopsy. So I mean, he looked fine. I'm glad that we got to see him one last time. They did put him in a little baby casket in a room by himself so that we could go in there and have whatever time we wanted. So yeah, I mean, it was nice. We were there for an hour, and I think it was hailing outside, because I remember there being a skylight and it hitting the skylight. And at one point I was holding him and I felt kind of just an overwhelming sense of peace. And that's kind of how I knew it was okay to say goodbye. Obviously, it was still hard to like walk out of the room and turn around and see him laying there alone in the casket. But I think that sense of peace helped. And I think that sense of peace is something I've carried since then. I was mentioning a few minutes ago how I feel peace surrounding the whole situation, despite, you know, still having hard days and whatever, because grief is grief.
It comes in stages and it goes in stages.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that'll be like a lifetime. I lost my stepmom when I was 12, and I know her parents are still go through it, right? And when I was 12, right, I'm 29 now, like, it's a long time. So, but that's your child, right?
Yeah, I think it's not normally a natural process to bury your children.
No, they're
And
supposed to be burying you.
yeah, and so with that being kept in mind, I don't think that it's not normal to grieve that long. It seems like an impossible situation.
Yeah, I think in Tober's like 1 year anniversary letter, I said like I don't want to have to miss you for the rest of my life. Like think about it. If I'm 29 and I live to be like 90, that's how many years of what 70, 60 some years?
Of just knowing the loss.
Yeah, that's an insane amount of time to be missing a baby or like what could have been or to feel grief. My mom was actually doing group therapy for a couple of months, and they had a guest speaker who, not as long as we're talking, but 15 years.
15 years is still a significant amount of time.
That's, think about it. Your child would be a teenager, and in a couple of years, they'd be going off to college. So that's like, you know, the first year is hard, missing those milestones, but beyond that, you're thinking about all the other milestones, when they would start kindergarten, when they would graduate high school, where would they go to college, who would they become, would they get married, would they have kids?
Absolutely, because I mean, we don't have to look too far. We have Nora in our friend group that would be hitting all of her milestones at the same time that Tober and the baby I lost would be hitting those milestones, because the three of us got pregnant together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it like we don't really have to look too far. When Nora goes off to college, like our kids would have been going off to college.
Yeah.
All of that. So
I just had this weird image in my head of like Nora crossing the stage, graduating high school, and there being two little angel babies following behind her.
Okay. Let's jump. Let's jump back out.
We'll save that for Haley's episode.
Exactly. So we had gone to pick up Tober's urn. It was yourself, me, your dad, your mom, Kim, and Chris.
I think my brother was there too, wasn't he?
Yes, Abel was there.
Yeah, he was there for that. That was nice. You know, it's kind of funny that we walked in like this big ass posse just to pick up this little tiny urn, and we were there for what 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, but I think it was
his coming home party.
Yeah, but it was also the support that you needed behind you.
Well, yeah, because not only was it hard to plan all of this and be in the funeral home, but to then have to go pick up just this tiny little box of ashes, knowing that used to be your full-grown baby, is a little like, ugh.
It's probably an intimidating process as well, like once you get to that end where you know that little box is what's left.
Yeah, that's left after all this, everything I've been through in the last, well, everything I did go through in that last year. This is what I have to show for it.
A box.
A box of ashes.
It sounds so final. Just
yeah. But it kind of was. It was, you know, closing that chapter and moving on to the next, which would have been continuing to heal and
keeping his memory.
Yeah. And then deciding on his celebration of life. Since I didn't do a funeral, I didn't feel like I would have been able to get through a funeral. You know, putting aside the cost of a funeral, I wouldn't have been able to do that so soon after.
I also think that the celebration of life that you guys held was so fitting because she asked us to all wear fall colors. Mm-hmm. So there was no black,
it wasn't
dreary sadness. The only sadness and like the stuff that made us cry
tears,
were the letters.
Whatever, but it also still felt like a celebration, like it was meant to be.
Yes.
So, yeah, I had created a playlist and I guess collected some sort of decor that would have been appropriate.
Well, it was fall decor.
Yeah, I had orange paper lanterns because it was October. He was born. I had like green cheesecloth, well, sage green, because his nursery color was sage green. We had some like of those battery operated candles. We had a lot of framed pictures, a lot of bouquets of flowers. We had his albums and baby books, and then a lot of his stuff he would have used. So, I mean, I think it was very well put together.
It was definitely well put together and well thought out.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what you wanted.
I'm someone who loves themed parties.
Also, you love the details.
I love the details. Oh, the details. Even when it comes down to like someone's card, okay? Like the stickers I put on a card.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I just love that stuff. I probably should have been like an event planner or something.
Hey, it's never too late.
No, I could go back to school. But yeah, no, I love doing that stuff. And so it already having so much meaning to me made it that much more special. And the turnout was amazing.
It was.
Like, you know, there were still a decent amount of people who couldn't come, but man, like, was there a lot of people that did?
For the most part, the people who didn't come did have good reasons.
Yeah, you know, like I had some friends who had just started a job, so they couldn't take the time off and stuff like that. That's fine. I also get it. Like, life happens.
We also skipped this part, but we do need to give a shout out to somebody because there was a relationship.
There was, oh, yes, okay, let's get into this. I had joined Facebook dating very quickly after Tober passed. This might sound a little bad, but I needed just the conversation with people who had no idea. Because at this point, I had posted on social media and everybody knew. And so talking to people was almost like they were afraid to talk to me because I was, I guess, in a fragile state. So I needed people to talk to that had no idea and who weren't going to treat me like that.
The people who just weren't going to wear the rubber gloves.
Yes. Which, I mean, I would act the same way, though, if I knew someone in that situation. I'd probably be a little afraid, too. So, yeah, I joined Facebook dating, and I actually ended up meeting someone.
Believe it to you to actually meet somebody.
In that situation, too. But I was pretty honest right from the beginning about what was going on, because I didn't want to get in a relationship with someone and then find out later and be like, you know what, that is a lot for me to deal with.
And
to be fair, yeah, that's a lot to deal with, okay? Especially when you're just hopping into a relationship. I also didn't want him to eventually come over and see my shrine to my dead baby and be like, oh, what's that?
Also the fact that, I mean, if you're dating somebody, he's coming to Friendsmas. He's coming to the birthday parties.
Yeah.
He's coming to every single thing that we host as friends. And let me tell you guys, there is a lot of stuff that we do.
Yeah.
We are pretty active in each other's lives.
I think more so the women of our group.
Absolutely, because we celebrate everything for each other.
Yeah, but the men too. I mean, they're along for the ride and they're happy to be.
Yeah.
So he was about to hop right into that as well. So, you know, all things considered, A+ for him because he did really well.
Huge shout out to him because he was at that celebration of life. He was along for the entire ride after that.
Yeah. He was essentially there from the beginning.
Yes. I think the beginning after you went home. Like, when you went home full time by yourself.
Yeah, because I met him pretty much that week. So.
Because you guys had been talking when you were staying with your mom.
Yes.
But you guys weren't hanging out or anything. And I think when you came back home by yourself, that's when
we went on our first date. But, I mean, you know, talking too, though, I was open and telling him when it was a really rough day and why, and even when I didn't know why. Sometimes it just sucks and you're not sure why. So, I mean, he always handled it really well, and he was supportive, And I think maybe without him, it probably would have been more of a struggle.
Absolutely.
Because he did help me to get back to what I enjoy doing, my hobbies, getting out of the house.
I think he was definitely also a calm presence for you.
Oh, yeah, he's very much a calming person.
And that's something that you were not used to.
Exactly. And I think for that time in my life, that's exactly what I needed.
The calm, level-headed, older.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was A++
Yeah.
to him. And while it didn't work out.
It did not work out, but I'm always going to have love for him for sure, especially for how much he's helped me in those initial stages.
Yeah, we still talk about you.
But he was a good one. So, yeah.
A++.
It didn't end because he was a bad person.
No.
I'll say that.
No, I think you guys your energies didn't match anymore.
Yeah. Like I said, it was what I needed at the time. But I think in my normal state of being outside of grief.
Normal?
Well, as normal as I get. I need someone who matches it a little better.
Yes.
So.
But with that, we'll jump into coming back to your apartment.
Yes.
Because I think that is the next kind of bridge.
Yeah. You and Haley and my mom cleaning out my apartment.
Yes.
It happened before
you came home.
I came home. It happened maybe like a week after losing Tober. So we came home. I needed to get more stuff because at that point I knew I was going to be staying at my mom's for a while.
Yes.
But I could not go into my apartment seeing all of this baby stuff. You living next door, I just hopped on over to your house and hung out. Had my meltdown on the couch.
I think you spent the time with Vienna.
Yeah. Vienna was on the other end of the couch, not saying a whole lot, but there. Yeah, and you guys went over to my place and kind of cleared it out. You did leave certain things that I asked you to leave. I pretty much made a list.
Yeah, we left like stickers, we left that kind of stuff, but everything else for the most part that could be reused again for another baby was packed away.
Yeah.
And put in storage. And then anything that wasn't salvageable, I actually packed up and brought to my brother in Montreal.
Diapers, wipes, bottles, soothers, anything.
They were so happy and so thankful because while all of this is going on with Tober, I was actually supposed to, I did end up going. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go, but I did assist with my brother and his lovely girlfriend's second daughter, who just happened to also be my goddaughter.
Yeah. So you would have had a goddaughter and a godson
within months.
Yeah.
And those are my first and only godchildren.
Just wait.
Just wait. Just wait. Cass is going to meet me.
I've got plans, guys.
But all of that to say is when I was emptying the apartment and bringing all the stuff to my brother, I had also expressed fear because I was assisting with another birth and I was petrified. And I had an amazing experience my first time assisting, because my first time assisting was for Noélie, who is my niece, who is just a little bit younger than Amara. And so that birth went amazingly. I advocated for her. We got through it. It was great. Then we had Tober, and that one kind of absolutely devastated and destroyed.
Yep.
And then I was scared of how do I come back from that, and how do I not bring that energy into that birth?
Yeah.
Because that's what I was scared of. I was scared that I was going to bring that same energy and that I was going to drag them down.
Right. Like you just went through this experience, and it's not that you're doing it again years later. It was months.
Literal.
Not even 6 months.
No.
It was less.
Well, she was born in January.
Yeah. And Tober was end of October.
So it was really close. Needless to say, I brought everything. They were super thankful. And I did end up assisting in that birth. It went great. Nothing bad to say about what happened with that one. Just at first I didn't know if I was ready. And really, it came down to her calling me at 10 o'clock at night. I hadn't answered initially. And then Cam came into the room and he's like, Christina's calling you. There must be something going on.
Yeah.
And so I answered the phone and she said, I'm at the hospital having a baby and I need you. And I was like, I'm not 100% sure. Once again, panic, scurry, sniff, flinch. Um, but I ended up driving to Montreal. It took me not very long at all. Got to the hospital.
You're really good at panic drives.
Panic drives, yes. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Sorry. Get back on track. The ADHD is showing. So I ended up getting there. Baby was had. Everything was great. But then also experiencing that happiness and then coming back to like our situation and then having Tober's picture on the wall and having just gone through Christmas and everything and all of that, it was like you go from such a high to
Back
such
down
a
to a low.
crash.
Yeah, I still feel like that. I think in his letter I wrote that, I still have so many things to be happy about and to smile about and so much joy in my life that sometimes it feels like I feel guilty
Yeah.
that I'm so happy. But at the same time, like, to still be able to have so much joy in my life when, so many people don't and they're just in a depressive state for a long time after is something I should be grateful for.
I think I also felt guilty after all of that though because I came back and you were still in it. And then I'm coming home with these pictures of my new niece and I want to share them.
I remember you being in the group chat. Is it okay? Or it's weird because for certain kids, I was fine. I was totally fine seeing Nora and holding Nora and seeing her pictures. And I don't know if it's because Haley was, I just got weird chills. Haley was so a part of that situation with us that day that it was almost like now we have this like
Bond.
intense bond that's what made me okay with being around her baby. But with other babies, it's like, no.
Yeah, it was, you don't want to see them. You don't want to.
Yeah.
And you had people popping up all over your Facebook page having babies. And
Yeah.
I mean, you signed off of Facebook for a little bit.
I did. I was like, you know what? Probably not so good for my mental health to be seeing all these people I know. And even to this day, actually, I saw another one last night. So many people I went to school with are just popping out these kids and making pregnancy announcements. And it was like,
I think it's the age group though.
Yeah.
Like that's where our generation, I guess. That's where our generation is.
I have quite a few friends who, I have already had seconds and thirds, but there is a very large group who is now just having their firsts.
Yeah.
Or their first is only a year old and they're already announcing their second. So yeah, I mean, on top of my grief and seeing babies out in public, I'm also seeing people closer to me that are popping out these kids. And as much as I'm happy for people, obviously, they're having a baby, it takes away the innocence of pregnancy. And I've noticed a lot of the time I'm thinking to myself, you're announcing this pregnancy and that you will be bringing home a baby in 9 months, but in my head
it's never for sure.
Never for sure. And it's not that you will be bringing them home, it's that you hope that you'll be bringing them home.
I was not aware until we started talking about this podcast how many people go into their C-sections or go into their labor or any of it thinking we're bringing home a baby.
Yeah, and this is going to go fine. Right?
Everybody thinks this is going to go great. And I mean, once again, maybe it's because it's not very talked about.
I think the bigger fear is that something will happen to you, not your baby. We so often see it in TV shows and movies, and that's what a lot of your conversation with your partner revolves around before giving birth.
Yeah.
What to do if I start to crap out mid-birth, right?
Yep. Yeah. Just,
A hard topic.
it is. But as I was saying, I don't think we really think about it in that way until we're actually there.
Yeah.
And then we get there and we're like, this actually happens?
Yeah, it's like being in a dream state, and maybe that's why so often people feel lost in the situation. Like, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to proceed because you don't think about it beforehand. It's not like you made a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the thing is, I'd like to say that maybe it would help to have these conversations brought up more when you go to your like OB appointments and stuff. But they probably steer clear of those conversations for a reason.
I mean, could you imagine going through the entire second half of your pregnancy thinking, there's a good chance that I don't bring this baby home?
Well, yeah, you don't want to put undue stress onto an expecting mother, especially, the stress you're already under when you're pregnant. So I don't know if there's really a right way to be bringing that up.
No. After you had come home and a few months had passed, Noelle was born, everything else happened. We had Tober's Star ceremony.
Yes.
At Roger Nielsen House.
Yeah, that was
beautiful.
It was so sweet, and they had all kinds of like crafts and stuff for living children to do. And then, there was the ceremony, and they read the baby's names, and we got to meet some people, and there was resources. So, I mean, Roger Nielsen in general, just A+ for the effort they put into the events they host, and the amount of opportunities that are given to grieving families to honor their babies.
They're amazing. After the star ceremony, there was the butterfly ceremony that you had attended with your mom and not Tober, Silas. Well, I mean, Tober was there, so yes, Tober.
Yeah, there was the butterfly release ceremony. It was really nice. It was spring, so it was perfect. The weather was great that day. I ended up seeing some people that I was in group with. And yeah, that whole thing was really nice too. They again read out the babies' names, and there was activities for living children, and that whole thing was great. I mean, yeah, I've taken pretty much any opportunity given to me to
celebrate him.
Yeah, why not? We do it for our living children, so.
So why wouldn't you do it for the ones who didn't maybe make it earthside?
Exactly. And not only, these events, but we've also brought Tober many places. Usually it's just his bear. A lot of the time he doesn't actually leave my purse because he goes everywhere with me. But a lot of the time we've brought his urn also. Yes. And we dress him up in fancy hats depending where we are.
Bad Alibi is actually where we had his first birthday party.
Yeah.
He's come to many a dinner there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bad Alibis.
That's like our go-to place for
the food
eating.
Is so good.
In general. Doesn't really matter what we're doing after, or if we're literally just going out to eat.
I mean, we've gone to Bad Alibis, which is out in the East End. It's in Orleans. And then driven to Canada to go see Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
And then driven back to Buckingham afterwards. Yeah. Just because
we just love Bad Alibis.
The food is bomb.
It is so good. Bruschetta. But yeah, Tober often comes to birthday parties, and he gets to wear a party hat, or in Grant's birthday party's case, he wore Shrek ears.
Yes.
And he wears a hat for every holiday, which I started around Christmas last year. So he didn't get a Halloween hat last year, but that's probably because we hadn't picked up his ashes yet, actually.
No, we hadn't, because we picked them up right around my birthday.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's very much involved still. And I think I wrote that in his 1-year letter as well, that everyone in our friend group has been so welcoming of it. And they greet him like he's one of our living children. And Grant gives him props, and Tiffany gave him a slice of cake at Caleb's birthday party. So So it's heartwarming, you know, because a lot of us haven't really gotten close until Tober passed away.
Yeah. I mean, the group really did come together even more after that.
Yeah. And so the fact that everyone's embraced it so much has been like,
It's been bittersweet.
it's, yeah, the group of friends I've always needed.
Our weird group of unicorns.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow.
And hopefully you guys will get to meet some of our unicorns as the episodes go on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that we can get Tiff and Haley to come on, maybe Kale eventually.
Yeah.
So
They've all got their own unique stories as well.
they do.
So, you know, maybe that's also been something that's helped in grief, is having a group of friends who have, you know, not necessarily been through a stillbirth, but
they've known loss.
yeah, it's, miscarriages are hard still, and going through more than one, and, you know, even abortion, because that's probably a topic for a whole other episode, but just because you have an abortion doesn't mean your baby wasn't necessarily loved or wanted. So it's all hard.
Yeah.
All types of pregnancy loss are hard.
Yeah.
So
alongside Tober's first birthday, we had the basket planning fundraiser that we had gone through, where we donated baskets to the Gatineau Hospital, the Civic Hospital, and the Ottawa General Hospital. These baskets were filled with a bunch of craft supplies, because often the nurses are the ones who are paying for these things out of pocket.
Yeah.
And so we ended up having a fundraiser, and all of this because I didn't want to walk 5 kilometers.
Yes. So we had the butterfly run planned for October 5th, which happens annually in Ottawa. And I've noticed actually across Canada, lots of other places do them too now. But Sarah did not want to walk the 5K.
Absolutely
I do not blame
not.
her. Walking is not my thing either.
No.
And so she came up with this idea to do a fundraiser. And honestly, it was an amazing idea just to start with, but it also ended up
turning into something bigger than we thought.
Yes, and it was amazing.
It was. However, I kind of, you know what? I screwed myself in all this, okay?
Why?
Because
you put more work into this than you would have put into walking 5K.
Exactly. And the amount of walking that we probably did on that day between the hospitals and the parking lots and all of it, I probably walked the 5K.
Probably, but you know what? This was really fun.
It was.
And
it was great to see all the nurses' faces.
It's going to help a lot of people too.
I'm hoping that we can do this again next year.
You know what? My original thought was this is a 1 year thing only. We're doing all these different things because it's his 1 year and the first year is the hardest. But if we could keep this going, especially after starting this podcast, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And it would be like our little yearly visit to
the hospitals.
Yeah.
And it could be also bittersweet, like maybe someday visiting the Civic with you being pregnant, bringing these baskets.
Yeah.
Like a full circle moment.
Yeah. Ugh. Actually, the nurses at the Civic did say, hopefully we'll see you again one day and we'll be here again.
Yeah.
Not to say I will deliver there. I don't know that I could go through that again at the Civic. But if that's what I decide, it's nice to know that they're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, these baskets, I just wanted to touch on it a little more because we ended up posting across all kinds of groups on Facebook, not just support groups for lost parents.
English speaking community moms.
Just all kinds of groups. I posted in groups that had nothing to do with parenthood. Okay. And we ended up getting people donating items. Yeah. In Australia. I was like, girl, thank you.
We love you.
Right?
Shout out
to whoever that was. I can't remember your name now. But yeah, we ended up getting so many things, and not just things that we use to create mementos with Tober, but also things that we thought would be helpful.
Grief journals.
Ornaments to put on your tree, bracelet making kits, with all kinds of stuff. And you even made specialized Tober stickers to go on literally everything. We put that on everything.
Yeah. But they were pretty cute. I have to buy more for next year.
Yes. We also had little poems. And we did insert our QR code, hoping that maybe our social media pages and this podcast might help any future lost families.
Yes, and because of our QR code in our story, the Civic Hospital in Ottawa actually added us as an official reference.
Yes, as a resource for future families. So hopefully that comes full circle and we do get future families watching. It's nice to have this kind of resource outside of the medical resources and the therapies and the events you can go to, because just hearing people talking about it helps to know you're not the only one thinking or feeling certain things, because everyone's different in their grief. So something we say here or talk about here might actually resonate with somebody in the future, whoever's watching. So hopefully it helps in some way, because you don't always want to be talking about it. You might just want to hear people talk about it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
We also had the Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep fundraiser for the photography group. It's made up of volunteer photographers who come into the hospitals and take pictures of you and your baby or your child who has passed. So, I mean, between the mementos we got in these pictures, I think they've helped a lot.
Can we also give a shout out to your mom, because your mom went ham on the Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep.
Oh, she took that and ran, and she raised $900.
Yes, you heard that correctly. $900.
That's my rent. That is my rent.
But it is such a great cause.
Yeah.
The photographer that had come in for Tober was just incredible.
Amazing. And we got a free photo book out of it. And so, yeah, like I said, all those things helped so much with the grieving process. And I mean, it still does. I still like looking back on those things. I think grieving would have been a lot harder without all of those things, because then it would be almost like he didn't exist.
Yeah. Tune into our social media after this episode, as we will be posting Haley's poem and your mom's poem that was on the table at Tober's birthday.
Yes, I also have his celebration of life letter and his 1-year letter.
Yeah.
I do have a letter I wrote him for 6 months. It was a lot shorter. But yeah, we will share all of these letters and poems. They were all amazing, honestly. There's some writing talent.
There is.
Amongst us.
I have to say that our group is pretty talented as far as all of the different things that we kind of bring together.
Yeah.
We have our mechanical types and the men. We have our writers and our artists.
Yes, I mean, Haley, not just the writing the poem, but I've noticed painting.
Right?
So good at painting. Ugh. Jealous. But then, you know, she did the cross stitching. I think Tiff said she had done cross stitching. And Kale's like a whole other side of
Makeup.
artistry with, makeup and creativity. And, you know, she loves her like spirituality and her tarot cards and astrology and stuff. And that's a whole other like
Talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a talented bunch, our little group of unicorns.
Yeah.
But yeah, so please see our social media and we will be posting all of that stuff.
Yes.
But with that, I think that finishes this episode.
I think so. I think we've touched on a lot of the first year. Obviously, in later episodes, we'll probably go more into depth into certain things, but
such as the baby daddy texts.
Yes, and you know, grief in general. But
that was year 1.
That was year 1.
So on that, thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.